Bubba Wallace finishes P2 and says, "Sorry, I effing failed, y'all. Absolute effing failure," on the radio. Freddie, I'm going to ask you this one again.
Yeah, kind of like what I told him during the race when he said it. I told him to shut up. That was a phenomenal weekend for him. And I know, listen, Bubba's his own worst critic. It's Bubba being Bubba, and I've dealt with it forever. And it's frustrating on my end because I know how much he wants to win. But I tried to reiterate this to him on Saturday night where this is exactly what we needed to do. We had a very fast race car. We were the fastest in our group of practice. We sat on the pole, and we ran up front most of the race. You know, I think we fell back maybe as far as 12th one time, but then once we got tires back on it, he stayed in the top 10, up top 5 most of the race. We passed a bunch of cars, drove back to the front. What he's upset about is the trues at the end of the race. We talked about it, and I don't know, he thinks he should have done something differently. We were running second. Harvick got a lucky break with a caution flag falling while he was on pit road, I think, because somehow he pitted and didn't lose a lap, and he was able to maintain the lead. So when Denny got his penalty, instead of us being the leader and controlling the race, we were behind Harvick and had to choose based on him. And our options were simple. Go to the bottom and race him, which we thought we could obviously beat him. We were better than him all day. Or pick behind him and push him out to the lead, and now we're racing him heads up at the end. And the downside of taking the bottom is if you don't beat him in turn 1, now you're probably going to end up behind somebody like Joey or Kyle. But at the same point, Kyle picked behind Kevin, and he got ran up the hill in turn 1, and he, I don't know where he finished, but he was nowhere near us. So you don't know what's going to happen. And Bubba, Bubba, hindsight thinks he should have took the top. I don't know. I don't think they would have,
You could line it up again right now the same way, and it'd be completely different.
Yeah.
You could mix it up, and it's...
Who ultimately made that decision?
Bubba. I told him, we talked about it, and I said, here's your options. Here's the pros and cons of each one. I'm going to let you do it because I need him to believe whatever, I don't want me to tell him, I think you need to take the top. He takes the top and don't work out. Then he's hindsight because he listened to me instead of doing what is there or listen to the team. Like, I want him to be fully confident of what he's doing and him pick and go after it. But, I'm just happy that, I know he's upset about not winning. But, I mean, you look what he's done the last month. His average finish over the last month is 4.5. We've got 4 top 10s in a row, 3 top 5s in the last 4 races. I think he's finally showing his potential. We're finally showing the speed we've had all year without making mistakes and getting clean races. But I don't want to say I hate it when he gets like this because I know it's just how he is and but it's hard to listen to when, like, I'm so proud of him and he's like beating himself up. And I know all the fans, I got blown up with texts and tweets from fans that they're like, I don't understand. We're so proud of him. Why is he so upset? So hopefully he feels a little bit better about it today. I know he's bummed out yesterday, but it was a hell of a weekend.
I'm spot on for your assessment. I'm spot on for him acting like that. He's got to be a leader in that scenario. If you look at Bubba Wallace's stats, 171 Cup starts, only 10 top 5s. 5 of those came at plate tracks. He's had 4 top 5s this year, which is more than he's ever had in his career. He's got 18 top 10s total, 6 of which have come this year, more than he's ever had in his career top 10s. He is building something. And when you look at your career as a race car driver, you don't just all of a sudden show up, unless you're Ross Chastain, and start kicking everybody's ass like Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, all the guys that Martin Truex's of the world, Denny Hamlin's. I mean, he's in a difficult situation, and he's made a lot out of it. I mean, dude, a year ago, I didn't know if he was going to make it with this race team. And now I look at it as, man, he is a staple in our sport. He is great for our sport. But you got to stay realistic in terms of what you think is going to happen. And I don't know why. I mean, me and you talked about it this weekend. He was in a I got to win mode all weekend. And you and I talked about it. I was like, man, if it's Daytona, he is. But, like, here, he just needs to keep building. And these guys feel so much pressure, and I think that's what it is for Bubba. He's getting out of the car, and he's feeling so much pressure as being the only black guy in the race. He's feeling so much pressure as I got to win and get into this playoff. He's feeling so much pressure from his sponsors. He's feeling so much pressure to be in this car for a long time. Because there's a hell of a lot of people in the sport, in the Cup Series and Xfinity Series and Truck Series, that would love to have Bubba Wallace's job. I just think he is succumbing to that pressure, and he can't do that again. He's got to stop getting out of the car and crying and playing the victim. Dude, I would have loved to have finished second yesterday.
Yeah, I'm spot off for that as well. I mean, could you imagine if an interview with, like, Brendan Gaughan, if he finished second, how ecstatic he'd be and energetic and stuff? That's what I'd like to see from a guy, because I thought Bubba drove a great race.
Great race.
I thought he did. He didn't fail anybody. He went out there and ran the race. Just because you sit on the pole doesn't mean you have to win the race. Doesn't mean, it doesn't even happen that often, honestly, to sit on the pole and win. So I think, you went out there and did your job. You
did it well.
Yeah, I mean, you got put back in the pack. You raced through a lot of things, and you got back up there. You had a shot at it. To me, that's you doing your job, and I thought he did a really good job. If he needs, I would like to see him get out and pump his guys up. We had a great car. We're going to be really good at the next track, and carry it into the next week, man. Momentum's hard to beat. You can't just go there and be like, hey, we're going to take some momentum this week. That's hard to get.
Yeah.
And he's got right now.
There are some successful guys that are current Cup car drivers that have been to sports psychiatrists. There are a lot of guys who have read leadership books. Like, I think he needs to lean on some of those guys or some of those resources, because you can't do that, man. You got to come out looking like a champion. I mean, obviously you're not a quote champion, but you just man. When you restarted Freddie like 12th to 14th, and you were buried back there, I was like, A, their pit strategy looks like it sucks, and B, I don't think he can drive back up through here. And I'll be damned, you drove right back up through there.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't no time, and you were up through there. Obviously, the caution came out, which changed some things, gave you an opportunity to get the win against Harvick, and Logano held you up. But, like, your car, Bubba, he probably drove the best race he's ever driven in his life.
He's also racing around. He's racing with great drivers, too.
Yeah.
And he's right in the mix of all that. So I don't think he has anything to hang his head about, man. He's doing great.
No, I mean, you look at that restart. We're racing Harvick, who they call the guy the closer for a reason. He's that's his MO for his whole career is how to finish out races. You're between Logano and Kyle Larson on the last restart and racing your ass off. It's just, I know it, and like we talk about the playoffs and trying to get in, and Bubba's in a contract negotiation deal right now, and it's. Like, I don't know if I shouldn't say this, but like, I don't give a shit about the playoffs. I just want to continue to build.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that we can go win a championship. So if I can't win a championship, I don't know that I give a shit about being in the playoffs. But we can continue to build off this. And if you just continue to put yourself in, we talk about this all the time. If you put yourself in position to win enough, you're going to win races. We've been in the top 5 now. Obviously, the road course was kind of just a survival deal. But, Loudon, we finished 3rd. This week was 2nd. If you just continue to put yourself in position, things will fall your way one of these times. And we're literally, we are the timing, we're half a lap or maybe 3/4 of a lap from winning that race yesterday, because if Harvick gets lapped, we come out with the lead, we restart on the top, we check out, we're gone. You know what I mean? And I don't think anybody's catching
You're
us.
one restart going just a little bit differently from being in the lead.
There's, like you said, there's nothing to hang your head about.
He's doing great. I mean,
and to Brett's point, it is frustrating when, like, you kind of, you work your ass off all day with him, and then at the end of the race, he's bummed out on the radio, and it's like, man, we just had how
hard these races are to win.
Best weekend ever, and I get it, I know how he feels, but like Brett said, there is the world of pressure on him, but it's just like everything has to fall your way perfectly to win these races, just like what happened with the 4. He caught a lucky caution at the right time to get him the lead, and he capitalized on it. Like, if that caution falls a little bit differently, like I said, a lap later, Bubba wins that race yesterday.
You never know. It might next week, so you got to keep going.
So just keep digging, put yourself in position, and we'll be fine.
I know you want to sell your home. Do it with our friends at OfferPad. Go get a cash offer right now at OfferPad.com.